Alrighty, everyone. So we have Greg Soderberg again, and we're going to lay out the acts and some bills, and we're going to load everyone down with some information, but we're going to keep it brief. That way it sticks. Anyway, Greg, please take it away. Let's get to it.
Okay. I want to thank you again for the opportunity, Zan. Debt Freedom Friends would like to create awareness and support for a bill called the American Transportation Act. Again, this bill should not be confused with the other American Transportation and Infrastructure Act that got going on. It is not that bill. This is the original American Transportation Act. And the purpose of it is to restore the American principle of a debt-free medium of exchange so that Americans are no longer forced into debt to get money created so they can buy, sell their products and services, be able to save and be economically free of a constantly growing and unpayable debt. The American Transportation Act is about 5 or 6 pages. It's only 14 sections. And today I'd like to go through the introduction and through section 4. And maybe in a following video, sometime we can do sections 5 through 14. People can read, download, or print a copy of the American Transportation Act by going to debtfreemoney.org. On the homepage, there's sliders, and look for the one that says American Transportation Act. When that one goes by, you go below, it says read more, click on that, and you'll have access to a PDF file of the bill. So let me read this, the bill. It's the American Transportation Act. In order to secure for the American people their inalienable right to life, liberty, and property, and to provide for them a debt-free, safe, sound, honest, permanent medium of exchange representing what they have produced and own, that they may be economically free to prosper in their agricultural, industrial, and commercial endeavors. We must repeal the Federal Reserve Act and return the creation of America's money to its Congress, as stated in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 5. So it's again a bill to secure for the American people their inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property by providing them a debt-free, safe, sound, honest, permanent medium of exchange representing what they've earned, produced, and own, that they may be economically free to prosper in their agricultural, industrial, and commercial endeavors. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1, short title. This act to be cited as the American Transportation Act. Section 2, findings. Congress, looking at our nation's huge and ever-growing public and private indebtedness, attributes this to following Alexander Hamilton and enacting national laws that changed the principle that enabled Americans to enjoy a debt-free medium of exchange and economic freedom to a principle that enabled the banking system to create and issue all new money as interest-bearing, debt-based credit money. This has forced Americans and their government into debt and economic involuntary servitude in violation of the 13th Amendment to obtain the medium of exchange. Private banks, not the government, now create and put all new money into circulation as interest-bearing loans that, at the very least, have caused and causes unnecessary bankruptcies, foreclosures, a constantly rising cost of living, loss of purchasing power of the money, made it impossible for most to save, and driven the need for more taxation, for more social help programs. Creating and loaning all new money into circulation as debt obligations has served special interests, not the general welfare, has made a small percentage of people very rich, forced the majority of Americans to live from paycheck to paycheck, and has forced millions of people off of the land into large, crowded cities. If Americans do not borrow, there is no money for them to earn, spend, or save. America's great public and private indebtedness and aforestated wrongs were caused when Congress wrongfully gave up its sovereign authority to create money by allowing the creation and establishment of the fractional banking system, which now possesses almost complete control over America. This complete control of the money supply put into circulation as interest-bearing debt equals complete servitude of the people in direct violation of the 13th Amendment. The fractional reserve banking system has caused price inflation, recessions, depressions, and rising unemployment by manipulating the money supply and allowing the interest to forever increase the debt, but not the money supply. Congress finds the best way to return economic freedom and secure the blessings of liberty for Americans is for Congress to return to monetizing the people's production, creating a medium of exchange that is spent into circulation as an earned and final debt-free payment that promotes the general welfare, as described in Section 2A, rather than benefiting just a few. So 2A is kind of the crux of this. 2A, the United States Congress has given the Treasury the power and duty to mint coins and print currency. The United States Congress has given the Treasury the power to monetize the people's production free of expense by issuing a medium of exchange debt-free in lieu of taxation or borrowing as an earned payment for production that promotes the general welfare. That is, the building, maintenance, and upgrading of public roads and bridges. These shall be built under the same process as is current. Citizens at the local level, not congressmen, shall decide how and where roads or bridges need to be built, repaired, upgraded, and maintained to best serve their needs. This shall be done as is current by citizens living in the jurisdiction of each city, township, county, and state government through their elected officials and in coordination with each other. The unit of government making a request for funds shall hire engineers to design the project and prepare a detailed written description of the planned project or projects. As is current, the private contractor meeting the bid specifications with the lowest and best bid will get the job. A copy of the bid will be sent to the comptroller of the currency requesting that the new money be created for the bid amount and delivered to the local project authority for spending to pay salaries of laborers and material providers who will also spend the money into the economy. The comptroller's only oversight will be to make sure the project and contractors are real and the jobs are completed to bid specifications. The U.S. Treasury shall coin, print, or create direct deposit electronic money and spend it directly without debt and interest-free to the unit of government which requested it in lieu of bonding and taxes. At the time this bill is enacted, all gasoline, oil, axle, vehicle licensing, and license fees and/or taxes are repealed. They will no longer be needed to fund the roads, and government loses no needed revenue for roads and bridges. Section 3, Bureau of Printing and Engraving. The Bureau of Printing and Engraving now prints the currency notes, but only sells them to the 12 Federal Reserve banks for the cost of printing. The 12 Federal Reserve banks then sell the notes at face value to the commercial banks, who sell the notes to the people who are forced to buy the notes with checkbook money that the banks create as interest-bearing loans. Both the notes and checkbook money provide Americans with a medium of exchange that has purchasing power but not ownership rights, as it represents what they owe, not what they own. The American people have been deceived, defrauded, and enslaved by the fractional reserve money system. This system compels them to perform labor, the fruit of which is taken from them through interest on their debt and taxation on government debts that cannot be paid and would not exist if Congress had not passed laws that gave away its constitutional sovereign duty to create a debt-free, wealth-based medium of exchange.
Exactly.
The mathematics of such a money creation system clearly demonstrates that the debt must constantly increase, as only the principal of each loan is created and then extinguished when the loan principal is repaid. There is no way to create the money needed to pay the interest debt, which is increasing with time. The monetary system is laden with unpayable debts, loss of purchasing power, and growing unmeetable costs of living that has forced millions of Americans into dependency and the loss of their homes and businesses through bankruptcy. The change of the monetary system as outlined in this act is necessary to ensure Americans their rights to life, liberty, property, and economic freedom, and to provide them a safe, sound, honest, sustainable, and debt-free wealth-based medium of exchange representing what they have produced in their agricultural, industrial, and commercial endeavors. Section 4 is simply definitions. A, debt credit money, money that is originally created as a debt obligation. B, wealth money, an earned debt-free medium of exchange representing the people's wealth created when they combine their knowledge and labor with the raw resources of the earth, producing that which all people need, mutually benefit from, need to live, and can use with no borrowing, taxation, or fees. C, fractional banking, the process of creating money by lending institutions as a promise to pay that which never existed. So that is through section 4. And again, people can get a copy of it if they go online to debtfreemoney.org. Just look for the slider, go down below, it says read more, click on it, and you can get a PDF file of the bill. Hopefully next time we can talk about sections 5 through 14, which are very short sections, but they deal with indebtedness and some things that are important. If anybody has questions, they can email me. My email contact info is at debtfreemoney.org, and I try to answer their questions. But Debt Freedom Friends are trying to create awareness for this bill and promote it, and hopefully get some congressmen to introduce it, at least so that American people can start talking about something they need to talk about that they are not talking about.
That's exactly it. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for participating. I'll put tons of information in the bio, and Greg and I will make another section.